to order the meeting of the Easton Housing Authority. This is Tuesday, March 16th. Roll call for attendance. Tom Tebow.
Here.
Dennis Sheedy.
Here.
Chrisanne Sheedy.
Yeah.
Don Burrows.
Yeah.
Chair Widdop is present. Executive Director Steiger.
I am here.
Yay!
Sorry.
With a little bit of struggle, but we made it. And let the records show that this meeting is being recorded by Easton Community Access Television, and we have a guest speaker, Dan Robillard, the fee accountant, which is agenda item number 1. So I will give the floor to Dan and to Kathy Steiger.
Sounds good. I'm here to talk about next year's budget. Fairly good news, relatively speaking. As of 2 months ago, you were supposed to cut your budget 4%, but that got rescinded in January. In 2022, we're going to be allowed to live at the same expense level for DHCD's program as we did last year, which is $741,899. So all we had to do is move some money around to cover increases that were mandated. Most notably, property insurance went up substantially, like 35%. That's why insurance is up $8,500. The other insurances, workers' comp and vehicles, stayed pretty flat. We also did a reorg, and we used an allowable 3% salary increase to help increase some hours, and we switched 2 of the staff. The part-timer became closer to full-time, and vice versa. The Section 8 coordinated position is going to be increased a few hours. We'll see that when we look at the salary schedule program, but DHCD should go along with this. We only asked to increase the state side 3%, but we've got about almost 10 more hours in the budget. Section 8 is picking up most of it. Maintenance labor went up. The DLI letters came out, and the increases were quite substantial, actually. And this is the 4th place I've seen that. So I don't know what anybody else has experienced. But I was quite surprised to see almost 8%. But we don't have a choice. We made it fit. $13,000 increase in maintenance labor. So at the end of the day, we had to cut contract costs, maintenance contracts, $36,000 to keep the budget in balance between increases in property insurance, health insurance, and maintenance labor rate increases. Those 3 items caused the cut in contract costs. That shouldn't be a problem whatsoever. If you look, we're still budgeting $69,000 in contract costs. You only spent $58,000 in 2020, and you're not going to spend $60,000, it looks like, in 21. So having $69,000 should be more than you need. If not, we will find some things that would have normally been called contract costs will get classified as non-routine instead, because you have substantial reserves and have no problem absorbing as much non-routine as you want. Your reserves could be overmaxed at year end if they don't spend enough money in March, meaning we might lose some of this year's subsidy earnings, because DHCD will not subsidize you to go over max. So we'll try to do everything we can, pull forward expenses from April that belong in March, stuff like that, to try to spend your reserve down to 100% so that DHCD doesn't take any of your subsidy. They're already taking some. They're making you contribute about $95,000 to a mod project. That's the only reason you're losing money next year. It's almost all because of the contribution to the mod project. Even with the loss, your reserves, if you look at the very bottom, are going to be 87%. Still extremely healthy from a financial point of view. Does anybody have any questions about the state program? We'll look at some of the schedules in detail when you're ready. Being no questions, I'm going to move on to Section 8. Technically, this is officially not a budget. But for internal purposes, you really want to account for all your income and expenses. This does not get submitted to anybody or approved by anybody. HUD gives you your admin fees, and it's up to you to manage them accordingly. Don't go looking for more from them if you can't make ends meet. They will not help you. This program is budgeted in theory to lose almost $6,500, but you have a $140,000 reserve, so that wouldn't be a problem. The reason it's losing money is because we increased salaries $8,400. Like I said, we increased one of the positions, the Section 8 position, and almost 10 hours, and Section 8 picked up most of that expense, as it should. You're really not going to lose $6,400. There's COVID subsidy that you received 2 allotments, one in the spring last year and one in the summer last year, that have not been spent, that'll be allowed to be drawn down and added to this reserve. So that will easily cover the shortfall. You will not end up losing money this year. We have till December 31st to spend that money or draw it down. So first and foremost, we'll wait to see if you have any actual COVID-related expenses that belong in Section 8. We'll pick them up. But when you haven't spent all the COVID money, you'll be allowed to draw it down anyway, because we're allowed to charge operating salaries against it if nothing else happens. So that's what we'll do. So you'll end up probably making some money in Section 8, but you don't need to. You can't spend this money anywhere else. What's nice is it's covering that unfunded pension liability you have if anything ever happens. Any questions on Section 8? We're probably also going to do better because there seems to be a hard press right now, and I think Kathy will attest to it, that you're increasing your units. If that happens, subsidy will go up more than just the 2.5% that I projected. The 2.5% is based on what really happened in February at 93 units, but we might reach 100 in another month or two. So that would mean another $600-700 a month in subsidy. Next page is the rental income. At the very bottom, it also includes the retained income, which is the net metering. Because you are in subsidy, which is due mostly because of the water treatment facility, you now will have to share your net metering. That's $68,000. Half of it's going towards reducing subsidy, and only half of it's going into your reserve. But that's better than what was originally planned. If you read the guidelines the last couple of years, they were saying all along they were taking 2/3 of it, and they are just waiving it for now. Well, they stopped waiving it, but they also adjusted the share to 50-50 instead of them taking 2/3, which is the way they always treated energy saving in the past. So I never understood why it was suggested to be 2/3 in the first place. So this is why your reserve got so high. We used to make $60,000-70,000 on net metering and put it in the reserve every year. That's why your reserve's close to 100%. It won't grow as quickly anymore, but you still got an extra $34,000 to play with. Next page is calculating the expense level for the state, and you'll see that we're not allowed an increase. We're spending the same amount as the year before. After that is the utilities. This is where we try to project costs. If we're wrong and we projected too much cost and we don't reach all that, we'll just be offset by subsidy and vice versa. If we didn't project enough utilities, subsidy will go up. DHCD will make you whole on 2 issues, rental income and utility costs. But we try to do our best to give them an accurate number so they know what their budget's going to be. Next page is admin salaries. No raises were given out. We're just changing around. 2 people are swapping positions, and then we increased the hours as much as we could. We stopped literally at 28.8 hours for the housing coordinator, which oversees Section 8, because that hit the 3% on the state side, and I didn't want to push the issue with the state. We could fight with them, say we want more hours, we're doing a reorg, 3%, and they might consider more than a 3% increase. but felt it was easier just to live within the 3% increase and not have to go to battle with DHCD over the last hour, 1.2 hours. We were hoping to get to 30. For 1.2 hours, we figured it wasn't worth fighting with them. You should be able to get there next year. One, if you really get those extra Section 8 units and keep them, Section 8 can probably pick up a little bit more. Two, I'm sure there's going to be some sort of cap increase next year. I can't imagine they'll go 0 2 years in a row. It's certainly not their wish. Next page is maintenance labor. You'll see the substantial labor increases. One position got 9%. The other two got 6 and 6.7%. That's what they'll get effective April 1st. You don't have a choice. DHCD says the minimum you can pay is the DLI rate, and that's also the maximum you can pay. Next page is the insurances and the benefits. They tell you where to buy property insurance. You don't have a choice, even though it went up 35%, you have to buy it there. Theoretically, it's because of the great bargaining, the great negotiating DHCD did, and the buying power they have by purchasing for all housing authorities combined. I'm not sure Easton would buy into that, but we don't have a choice. The other insurances, workers' comp and vehicle, didn't really change at all. Down below is the benefits. Pension didn't move very much. That was nice. Group insurance, that's where the biggest move was. I think we had a change in plans. The next page is non-routine. There's some equipment in here. Some maintenance, a new tractor and a trailer for that tractor, a few appliances, and most notably, you're being required to contribute $95,531 towards the paving septic project that's taking place in the mod. If that number is way off and DHCD decides it needs to be doubled, you obviously can afford it and probably won't have much justification to deny it, but I would fight them anyway. You will be below max. But the old rule used to be everything over 70% was eligible for mod. It's not really a rule anymore, but they still seem to exercise it when it suits their purpose. If that's the case, you won't have much of a chance to win.
Are you seeing that, Dan, anywhere else?
There are very few housing authorities that have even 50% reserves, so it's not a conversation never mind 70%. Most housing authorities are struggling to stay mid-range. I have more people fighting the 35 than I do fighting 70, never mind 100. You're in rare air, and that has a lot to do with your solar. The other places that I have that are doing well have the same exact story. They've been making a lot of money on the solar and can't spend all the solar money quick enough. So I haven't seen many. I think I've seen one other housing authority have to pay towards a mod in the last couple of years. That's it. It's just not happening much.
So all of our net metering money is right in the budget line items. We're not looking to maintain any admin management account that's kind of just the solar money. Is that anything?
No, they have very specific rules on how to account for the solar money. We have to take the complete cost of the solar. We actually have to show it all now. Show the complete electric cost, then the complete solar cost, the complete solar credit, and then half of that credit, they can see it right on their statements now, goes to one line. They have a very specific line now for their share of the solar income, and then the other half of it goes to restricted income in the 400 program that earns the solar. And that's, we had a couple of meetings as fee accountants because they didn't understand how to do the accounting for it. And we're trying to give us rules that made no sense. In part, a three-way entry, which is there's no such thing. You can't have two debits and one credit, which is what they were trying to present. But eventually we settled on how to do the accounting. And we now have two debits and two credits, and it all adds up and all foots.
No odd numbers.
Okay. Sorry I asked that question.
That's okay. If it gave me an opportunity to give you a nice story. If you didn't already have little faith in them.
Kathy, the tractor, is that a replacement tractor? Is that a lawn tractor?
Yes, it would be a replacement tractor, paid in the other one. And the trailer is for equipment that we currently like to bring to the other sites that we can't right now. We do have a trailer, but this is a different type of trailer. It's the bigger equipment.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other questions I can help with?
No, it looks like a great budget moving forward. I mean, we're living within our means and spending a little bit of it to make the housing authority a better place.
Right. Yeah, you want to make sure you spend enough so you earn all your subsidy. Better spending it here than having the state keep it.
Yes, no, I agree.
All right, so do we need a motion to approve? It's that lovely paragraph we need to read.
I didn't see that.
Are there any further questions or comments on the budget fiscal year 2022 that has been presented by our fee accountant, Dan Robillard?
I'm all set.
I'm good.
Hearing none, we will, well, we need a motion to approve this budget.
Is there something we're supposed to read, Kathy?
The certification page usually has the specific language of what the expenses are versus what the income is, or vice versa. So I guess I could summarize it to the best of my ability, or if Dan wants to read it, I'll make a motion.
Let me see if I can find the copy I sent to Kathy. I could pull it up and read it for you. Give me 1 minute. Good news, I got 2 computers going.
Hey, somebody's computer's working good today.
And both of mine work, Kathy. All right, I found it. Let me just open it up. Yeah. Here's the motion. Somebody so moves that the proposed operating budget for the state aided housing of the Easton Housing Authority, program number 400-1 for fiscal year ending 3/31/2022, showing total revenue of $1,182,899 and total expenses of $1,164,899, thereby requesting a subsidy of $110,351, and further that the executive director's total annual salary of $89,067 for fiscal year ending 3/31/2022 be submitted to the Department of Housing and Community Development for its review and approval.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion by Commissioner Chris Ann Sheedy and a second by Commissioner Dennis Sheedy to approve the fiscal year end March 31st, 2022 budget. We'll do a roll call voice vote, yes or no. Let's see, we'll start with Chris Ann Sheedy,
Yes.
Dennis Sheedy,
Yes.
Tom Tebow,
Yes.
Don Burrows,
Yes.
and Chair Widdop votes yes, so it's unanimous. It has been approved.
Thank you very much, Dan.
You're welcome.
Yes, thanks for
My pleasure.
joining us. Nice to see you.
See you next year.
Likewise. Maybe we could see each other in person next year.
I'm praying, Dan, I'm praying.
Yeah, you got directors are doing a lot. I see it everywhere. How much, making this vaccine happen is a big deal. And I know think DHCD has given the executive directors the credit they deserve for making it happen. I had 3 different housing authorities, 4 now, offer to get me a vaccine, and amongst all their tenants and stuff like that. And that's, all the work I see directors doing, it seems to be their only job lately. God blesses.
Yeah, we're all now in healthcare administration. You didn't know that?
All right. Well, you have a good evening. Unless you have any more I don't think you have any more questions for me, right?
I'm all
I'm all
set.
set.
All right. Thank you. Have a good evening.
Thank you, Dan. Stay safe.
Okay, we will move on now to agenda item number 2, which is the accountant's compilation, the financial statements for the period ending January 31st, 2021.
Kathy, you're gonna be able to spend the money?
I'm gonna try. I have an idea of something and as long as we can get it done, maybe very soon. I'm gonna try.
Well, the comparatives look very good to me. There's a $40,000 surplus in the 400 program as of the end of January. That's the money that I take it we need to spend, or thereabouts. He said 34,000, I think. But looks good to me.
I'll make a motion to accept the financial statements for January 2021 and put on file.
I'll second that motion.
Thank you. We have a motion by Commissioner Dennis Sheedy and a second by Commissioner Chris Ann Sheedy to approve and place on file the financial statements for the period ending January 31st, 2021. Do a roll call voice vote. Commissioner Chris Ann Sheedy,
Yes.
Commissioner Dennis Sheedy,
Yes.
Tom Tebow,
Yes.
and Don Burrows.
Yes.
And chair votes yes, so it's unanimous. Next item on the agenda is the warrant for February 2021 in the amount of $179,643.12.
I'll make a motion to approve the February warrant in the amount of $179,643.12.
I'll
I'll
second that.
second that motion. Sorry, Tom. Go ahead.
All right, I second it.
Yep, thank you. I have a motion by Commissioner Dennis Sheedy and a second by Commissioner Tom Tebow to approve the February 2021 warrant in the amount of $179,643.12. Are there any questions on this report or comments?
I have one quick question. I see that we paid Blackstone Block Architects a fee. Have there been any change orders with that architect at all?
With the architect, just on the roof job, yes, on the roof job, that would be the one coming up.
That's for him? That's for the roofer?
That's for the roofer. No, none for him in particular. No, none for him. I have 2 jobs going with him right now. And the current job that we have going is the community room. And we're going back and forth on fees for that. So, no, I don't believe there was any change orders on his.
Okay, that just was just an inquiry. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Are there any further questions on the February warrant?
Kathy, is the COVID cleaning still going on?
Yes, it is.
Hearing no further discussion on the February 2021 warrant, in the amount of $179,643.12. I will proceed with a roll call, yes or no voice vote. Commissioner Chris Ann Sheedy,
Yes.
Commissioner Dennis Sheedy,
Yes.
Commissioner Tebow,
Yes.
Commissioner Burrows,
Yes.
and Chair Whitup votes yes, so it's unanimous. Agenda item number 4 is the change order for Free Fish Project 088071 for the roof vents.
Seems like a reasonable request to me. I would assume, Kathy, that the ones up there are original and probably in need of being changed anyway, I
They
would
were,
think.
absolutely. And when they got up there, they realized that they needed to be done. They weren't the original scope. So it was definitely something that needed to be done in the job and was affordable.
Okay, I will make a motion that we approve the change order for project number 088071 in the amount of $2,600 to add vents to the roofing project at Elise Circle.
Second.
Was that Dennis?
Yep.
Okay, thank you. We have a motion by Commissioner Chris Ann Sheedy and a second by Commissioner Dennis Sheedy to approve the change order for project 088071, contractor Almar LLC. The change order is for $2,600 to replace roof vents. We'll do a roll call vote now. Commissioner Burrows,
Yes.
Commissioner Tebow,
Yes.
Commissioner Chris Ann Sheedy,
Yes.
Commissioner Dennis Sheedy,
Yes.
and Chair Whitup votes yes, so it's unanimous. Agenda item number 5, certificate of substantial completion on job project number 088071.
I'll make a motion to approve the certificate of substantial completion.
I will second that motion.
We have a motion by Commissioner Tom Tebow and a second by Commissioner Chris Ann Sheedy to approve the certificate of substantial completion on job 088071, the roofs replacements at Elise Circle. Are there any questions or comments?
So Kathy, the punch list is just to repair the lawn?
Yes, that's it. And this roofing company did a fabulous job. I can't say enough about this contractor.
Excellent.
Are there any further questions or comments?
All set, thanks.
Hearing none, we'll move to a roll call, yes or no voice vote. Commissioner Chris Ann Sheedy,
Yes.
Commissioner Dennis Sheedy,
Yes.
Commissioner Tom Tebow,
Yes.
Commissioner Don Burrows,
Yes.
and Chair Whitup votes yes, so it is unanimous to approve the certificate of substantial completion on the roof replacement job at Elise Circle, project number 088071. Agenda item number 6 is the lowest bidder approval for paving and septic repairs on Chandler Way. It's project 088069. and a report that was submitted by Graves Engineering.
We have some apprehension on this particular bid.
You know what, for the purpose of discussion, I'll make a motion to accept the bid of Site Tech Incorporated of East Weymouth, Mass. In the amount of $254,690 for septic work at Chandler Way. And pay.
Second.
Fish number 088069. And for discussion, I will second that motion.
Don Hardy.
Oh, Dawn did, I'm sorry.
Okay, we have a motion for the purposes of discussion to accept the bid, the lowest bid from Site Tech Incorporated from East Weymouth in the amount of $254,690 for the project 088069, the paving and septic repairs at Chandler Way. Do we have any? Let's open it for discussion.
They have done reference checks, Graves Engineering, and actually there doesn't appear to be very much septic background for this company. Even on checking to see if they had a website, I could not locate one. And in discussions with both Dave McClave at DHCD and Jackie Montero, and also Graves Engineering, we have to give this bidder the opportunity to do this job. They could be starting to get into the septic work end of this, so we have to give them the opportunity to start the job.
So when they put down on their references that they do utilities, is that?
That's the caveat that gets it, yes.
Okay, all right, because it sounds like it's all 911 centers, that they're probably doing a lot more with conduit and wiring and that type of piping as opposed to water and tanks and leaching fields and.
Yeah. I was specifically told that we can't throw the bid out. There's no justification for it.
Well, it's just that Chandler Way has been, it's been a problem, the septic down there. We've had the leak issue and trying to find out where the seepage comes from. We're running cameras and everything else, trying to figure it out. And then to sort of, you know, take what's available and hope for the best is, I don't know, you know,
I agree with you 100%.
It's just frustrating that, you know, we're told we have no choice.
Mhm.
And he's done no public work, right? He hasn't done any, there was no reference to doing anything at an authority or other.
Yeah.
And we don't think he has a subcontractor to do the actual septic work. That's different from site work.
No, they said that they don't know that, and that he could have hired his own engineer to do this, and we have to give him that opportunity.
Hired his own engineer to,
Meaning he has somebody that works for him that will do this. Instead of a sub.
So is Graves gonna oversee it, Kathy?
yeah, we have to.
And Sean Keating is very good, actually, and I'm gonna speak to Sean about this to really, we're gonna have to stay on top of this one. That's all. And Sean's gonna have to come out here more in Graves. Mike Andrade from Graves has actually been very diligent in coming out. He's pretty responsive. So if we're gonna have to watch it on our end and just make sure that if we see something that doesn't look right too, to alert them immediately.
How many meetings are there that are planned to sit down with the contractor and Sean and Graves? Because that's really, I think, where it's gonna come out as to if they're having issues, they have questions, are they following the proper protocols? Because Sean he'll keep a good eye on it, but sometimes when everybody sits down at the table and there's discussion, certain things suddenly come to light.
Well, we can express these concerns at the NTP as well. I plan to, and we don't have a schedule yet because nothing's been adopted. The contractor's already contacted me wanting to know when he can start. And I told him that's not how this works. I had to present it to the board and we'll take it from there. But we don't have a meeting schedule as this moment.
Well, in Graves' work order, there should be a number of meetings that they have agreed that they are going to come to, and, site visits that they're going to make. So maybe, I don't know, if there could be anything extra added saying Graves needs to have a little closer ability to review this, to be at the job site more often, or there needs to be weekly meetings if there was only supposed to be bi-weekly meetings.
I'm sure there'll be an added cost with that.
Oh, I'm sure there would be too, but it might be money well spent.
Agreed, absolutely. I'll be honest, because I don't remember. I looked at the work order a while ago and I don't remember the amount of meetings at this moment in time.
Yeah, no, I know that's not something that comes to the top of your head, but I'm just thinking, if they want us to take this and they're saying there's no choice because it's low bid and he's got decent references, maybe just make the argument that he hasn't done any state work, and there's nothing that says he's had septic experience. So we have a concern that it needs to be watched a little more closely.
Absolutely, good point. Thank you.
All right, I'll shut up now.
Oh, I agree with everything you said, and obviously that might turn out to be a great contractor, but just like a new employee, you have to have extra supervision for them as they start. And again, hopefully they'll walk right through it. But as Commissioner Dennis Sheedy said, that's a real difficult place. It's in the middle of a swamp, a septic tank in the middle of a swamp.
Yes,
Mhm.
absolutely.
And the fact that they're just not familiar with all the paperwork and the processes, it's like it's holding somebody's hand literally to get them from point A to point B.
Especially with Cap Hub.
Yeah, it's a lot of work.
Mhm.
Plus, you have the septic issues can be so fickle because their symptoms can be hidden based on the weather. If you have a big, long dry spell, they could look at it and say, what's the problem? Whereas if you had a day of maybe an inch of rain, then it's going to be in their face what the problem is.
Which is what we've been experiencing at Chandler Way all these years anyhow.
Yeah. Well, I think we've voiced our concerns. I don't know much more we can do. We have to accept it, so at least we're on record.
Yes,
Yeah, I think, I don't want to put it that we have to accept it. If we deny it and the company decides to fight us, then there will be expense, and we have been advised that we probably would not win that argument.
correct.
Which, looking at it, I don't see how you'd win it. You have three good references.
Mhm.
You're speculating that they can't do it, and he's saying he can.
Correct.
Not to mention there would be a huge delay in the job, which the job cannot handle being delayed.
Correct. It needed to be done last year.
Right.
Is there any further discussion relative to accepting the bid from Site Tech?
I'm all set, thank you.
The way I understand this is we are now to move to a roll call yes or no vote to approve this bid. Okay. We have a motion by Commissioner Dennis Sheedy and a second by Commissioner Don Burrows to approve, to accept the bid from Site Tech in East Weymouth in the amount of $254,690 for the paving and septic repairs at Chandler Way. We'll do a roll call vote now, yes or no. Commissioner Chris Ann Sheedy,
Yes.
Commissioner Dennis Sheedy,
Yes.
Commissioner Tom Tebow,
Yes.
Commissioner Don Burrows,
Yes.
and Chair Whitup votes yes, so it is unanimous. It is, the bid has been accepted. Agenda item number 7 is the Formula Funding Award Amendment number 14 in the amount of $272,650 for the June 30th, 2023 through June 30th, 2024 formula funding, which will include the lead abatement project at 26 Pequannock. I'm sorry, no, at the lead abatement project at 22 Eisenhower Drive. And I'm assuming that the reason it's labeled 26 Pequannock is because that's where it all started.
No, it's because they still haven't changed their systems at the HCB, even though they full well know it's 22, 23.
22. And they need to fix a field in their computer and haven't done it yet.
Yes, but it's still the same development number. It's a 705-1A.
Thank you.
I'll make a motion to approve the CFA, Contract of Financial Assistance.
Second.
We have a motion by Commissioner Tom Tebow and a second by Commissioner Dennis Sheedy to approve the amendment number 14 CFA 5001 in the amount of $272,650, which to include the lead abatement number 705-1A for 22 Eisenhower Drive. Is there any discussion on this? Questions?
I'm all set, thanks.
Okay. Hearing none, we will move for the roll call yes or no vote. Commissioner Don Burrows,
Yes.
Commissioner Tom Tebow,
Yes.
Commissioner Chris Ann Sheedy,
Yes.
Commissioner Dennis Sheedy,
Yes.
and Chair Whitup votes yes. So we have approved the formula funding award amendment for the lead abatement at 22 Eisenhower Drive, mistakenly noted on DHCD paperwork as 26 Pequannock Avenue. Moving on to agenda item number 8, Aging Service Funding for Supportive Housing Request Letter. This is a good one. This looks good.
Yes, it does. With any luck, it will all happen. We're just in the process of this. We haven't sent the letter yet. I'm working with Old Colony Elder Services to draft this letter and send it on over. And the staff person that would be provided would be through them. So hopefully all goes well with that. We do need to provide them office space and internet in a private area. And I would like to request that we authorize to take a unit offline at least for this year for this person. The reason for that is the spare room that we have in Parker Terrace is actually a file room for the office, so we wouldn't want anybody in there. The hobby room down in back of Parker Terrace, that's the only room tenants technically can go in at the moment. And then we're going to be doing the construction job at Lee Circle, so it's hard to find office space if this comes to fruition soon to house this staff person. So if we could, for at least this year, authorize a unit offline for the office space for this person, so they could guarantee them privacy, so that they can meet with residents and keep their documents and be able to access it 24/7.
I don't think, we can't authorize that, right? You have to make the request through HAFIS, and there's a special, I think it's number 11, some special
yeah.
program.
Yes, yes, but they told, when I talked to my management rep, she said, you want to bring this before your board and have them approve that before we do anything going forward.
Approve the unit offline before we even are awarded the grant?
Well, approve us to take a unit offline if the grant is awarded to us. We wouldn't do this. We wouldn't take the unit offline prior to getting the grant. We have quite a few vacancies, as you'll see from the vacancy report, that we would have a vacancy, I'm sure, that when this all falls through.
Can we make it a second floor unit?
Then you run into the
Yeah.
problem that they can't
You
get.
can't, it's not accessible. You can't have it up there.
You can't have it on first floor either. That's not accessible for a wheelchair.
It would have to be, you have to somehow or another. To be
Yeah.
honest with you, Kathy, I'll never approve taking a unit offline, not for 20 hours a week of work. I'm not gonna displace a person from housing to, there has to be a workaround to this somehow, whether there be the 34,000, build them an office somewhere, or somehow, some way, get more creative, more inventive, something out in the garage, something out in the barn out there. I don't know. There has to be something.
Well, it's the hobby room out back, but that would mean taking all the stuff out of that hobby room. I mean, truthfully, the hobby room was only really used. I mean, it collects books galore and clutter that we are constantly throwing things away. Nobody really uses it other than when they did the foot clinic down there.
Yeah,
But
take it away. You'll find out everybody uses it.
Right.
Yeah.
Could we look at the cost to eliminate the file room by hiring a company to,
Shred it.
I don't know, not just shred, but maybe
Stored off-site?
store off-site, or even electronically to scan it so that now we have it at least on an electronic file?
Oh,
Look for
that's
that.
tons of money.
To converting the hobby room.
I don't believe that would be a good idea. A lot of those files are run-over files that we use for current Section 8 and current housing residents. We don't have enough storage in the immediate office for the files. So we will purge the files annually, and then extra items that we still need for current residents, whether it be Section 8 or state public housing, we need to be able to access those files still. And that's what's in that room. And wait lists. Obviously, you have to hang on to those for an extended period of time before you can get permission to dispose of them.
Mhm.
For the file room, we definitely need.
Wow.
The
Those are
hobby,
active files.
I don't really believe we do, but
Yeah, the hobby room, how big is that, Kathy? Do you know, 10 by 10, 20 by 20, 20 by 10?
more like 10 by 20 maybe. It's a
Yeah.
decent size.
I mean, if we could wall off 10 by 10, I know we have this program in Brockton. It's a wonderful program. I'd love to have it. But as far as the office goes, that's just for confidential meetings to fill out some paperwork. If you have 3 people in there at the most, the person who's doing the thing and 2 other people, that's the most I've seen. But I do agree when we have lines that are years long for people to get into housing, it's awful difficult to take a unit offline.
Well, I know that there used to be one offline here years ago when the attorney was here.
Yeah. No, we had some offline in Brockton for programs, and we
Mhm.
put them all back online. Just we couldn't do it anymore. Just the length of the list and how desperate people were to get the assistance. You really couldn't justify it.
I mean, we can definitely look at that hobby room. Just be prepared. It could backfire a little bit.
But I think we should look at it, and I think that Commissioner Denishiti was absolutely right. Let's look everywhere. I mean, if we have to, we have plenty of money. I just had an accountant tell me we had plenty of money.
Oh, those accountants.
Which would be wonderful. Again, I love this program. I don't know in Brockton, what it does is allows you access to services 24/7. Person's not there, but they'll come out if you're sick at night and provide services for you. It's a wonderful program. And Old Colony Elder Services does it in a number of places. So, but again, as far as office space goes, they don't need much.
Okay.
Can we wall in some of the file cabinets in that file room and like kind of create an office within that room?
That room is full of kitchen cabinets from wall to ceiling, if you will, that are useless. You know what? That room's quite honestly kind of a disaster.
It's a small room too, as I recall, isn't it?
Oh, but it would be fine for this.
Yeah, but we also use it currently right now. The meal prep service person stores a lot of her stuff in there that she needs to do the Meals on Wheels, because there's not enough storage out there. People were stealing stuff. So we lock it in that file room for her. So
we could buy her like an armoire type thing that could have a lock on it. I don't know. I just feel like it could be,
it's boxes of items, bags and cups and dishes. And I mean, yeah, we'll look at something else. We'll figure it out.
You could maybe give the Meals on Wheels person her own room with a lock. I don't know if that's possible.
There's no other rooms other than that room. And then there's the hobby room, which we can convert. Nobody really, didn't they used to use that for a kiln or something, that hobby room?
It was, when I was there was a kiln.
Yeah, I think we sold the kiln.
Yeah. And I mean,
Right.
the community room itself is enormous. If people want to gather, that's where we could maybe put some shelving up there to put books out or something of that nature. Quite honestly, the books just collect dust. I don't see anybody ever use them, take them. All we do is find piles of new books in there. It's rare that they're used at all.
Is there any room, Kathy, at Elise in that community room?
Yes, there would have been, but we're starting the community room upgrades up there with the money from Rep. Claire Cronin. So we're going to be tearing walls, and they actually need the office that was up there that we were using prior. They need to use that for the kitchen to make the bathrooms handicap accessible. So they have to push the kitchen out.
Oh.
I mean, we might be able to work something into that design. We're just starting on that actually. But if this comes up quicker than not was my concern, that would not be ready. And if that's the case, we can use the Pocket Terrace, the hobby room.
And this person can actually go to apartments. People don't have to come to them technically.
Well, it's part of their contract. They have to have an office space where they can have.
Yeah, I understand that, but it doesn't have to be necessarily that people can get to them. So I don't know if it has to be, huge or whatever. It's like if they can get out to people, which I would assume they're going to do more so than people coming to them at this point.
My experience has been they're very particular about their office space.
Yeah. They really spell it out in the application.
No, they
yeah,
do. They're very, very particular.
Yeah, they need hot water. I like that one. Why do you need hot water?
Gotta make a cup of tea.
Ah, a cup of tea.
Doesn't say they need a bathroom, but they need hot water, so,
And a kitchen facility.
yeah.
Kitchen facilities.
They're not gonna be doing meals, right? That's already being taken care of.
That's already being taken care of. We have that already in place here.
So can I jump beyond the office with a couple other questions? If this goes forward, are they hiring someone new to assume this position, or is it somebody that would be on their staff that's already kind of familiar with like doing stuff over maybe at Brockton Housing? I'm like, are we getting somebody that's brand spanking new, or are we going to get somebody who has a clue?
I'll be honest, I don't know the answer to that right now because we haven't even filed the application yet.
My experience, Commissioner Sheedy, has been, we've had 4 full-time people. And we've had, I'd say, different commitments amongst the 4 people, just as with any employees, but they've all been acceptable. 2 of them have been outstanding. But it has, I think we've been doing it now for, well, if you remember Mark Slotnick, he was still with DHCD when we got the program. So it's
Oh, my word.
That's a long time ago.
That is a while ago.
goes
So
back
that's
to-
one of my other reasons that I want them on in the office building, because I just feel like there's a little more accountability. I feel like if they're off in an apartment, you don't know when they're there and they're not there. You don't have as much ability to converse with them. When they're right there in the building, you know, you can walk over, you can have a chit chat. It's just better connection. I feel like it's more disconnected when they're out in an apartment, and you really don't have as much ability to find out what's going on.
Plus, the people come to the community area, that's where they show up, and that's where they're gonna find the supportive housing person.
Mhm.
And, you know, they're not gonna wanna walk over to a lease and get there and nobody's home, so they'll get frustrated quickly that way.
Yeah, I'll give, we did have an office in a high rise down at quite a ways down the hall, and it was, people just wouldn't go down there. We moved it to the lobby just to get it better. Dennis, I think you've had some experience with that at your building too, being way down the hall is.
Yeah, way down the end, and, yep.
So Kathy, do we need to vote to authorize you to put a letter of interest in? Is that, or is this was just for?
Just for information so that you're aware. I don't believe you need to vote on that.
Okay,
Yeah, that's not my understanding. Again, this is the first time I've done this, so I'm not exactly 100% sure on that, but I wanted you to be aware.
If there is anything in your draft letter that implies us putting a unit offline for the purposes of this office, you might want to revise that.
We are looking at all options.
Kathy, that room, when you first walk in the door, I believe it's a receptionist right there. It's got the window that looks right into the lobby. Would that room be available to use?
No. And the reason why is because our files are in there and this person would need to have 24/7 access, and we can't have somebody that's not a staff member in our offices that could access personal files.
Yep, lots of fun concerns.
Because I thought of that, I thought they could split because that's only a part-time position there, and then there is, you know, confidential information there that they should not have access to.
nope, you're absolutely right. Remember DHCD and HUD telling us we could work from home but couldn't bring our files?
Yes.
In case you had an accident and they spilled all over the highway.
Yeah.
If I remember correctly.
Yes,
Is that
Yeah.
one of the
Yeah.
scenarios? Okay.
Do we have any further questions or comments on agenda item number 8, the aging service funding for supportive housing request letter and the idea of taking a unit offline, which has been nixed? Is there any further questions or comments? I don't believe we need a vote here, do we? Or, okay. So moving on to agenda item number 9, which is the audit report from 2019. Yes, for the year 2019 that ended in March 31st of 2020.
Our fiscal year 2020.
yes.
Correct.
It was delayed due to COVID.
I thought it was a good audit. I didn't see any findings at all. Great job, Kathy. Good to see we're in good shape. Again, our accountant told us that we're in good shape, and seems like you have your systems down to your internal controls down well.
Thank you.
Yeah, great job. It's always nice to have an AUP. And the one and only finding, of course, is that lovely executive director contract, which is not your fault, not our fault. Just blame it on the department.
Yes, I did call Kathy on that. I do think that we do need a contract in writing, but the contract's between Kathy and the board of directors, period. The HCD wants to approve it, and they can if they want to. If they don't, it's still a legitimate contract if we approve it.
And so are you suggesting we use the contract that we've had in the past or something different?
I think Kathy should bring forth whatever contract she wishes to work under, and we should consider it just like we would in any negotiation. And that, we come to a conclusion to keep, to best serve the Easton Housing Authority. I just want to make sure that I want to go on record that if for some reason there is a clause in there or something that the HCD says that they're not going to approve, thus we fail that on then we need to fight that. And Executive Director Steiger has been very reasonable in her request. She's not requested for any, clauses in a contract or conditions to work under that I think anybody would raise an eye at. But I just want to make sure that I believe the law says that the executive director works for the Board of Commissioners and that they have a contract with the Board of Commissioners.
I agree.
Okay, I will work on that for, if not the April meeting, the May meeting.
Thank you, Kathy.
Thank you.
Yep, just put it on your to-do list.
Do we need to do a motion and a vote for Kathy to work on that project, or shall we cross that bridge after?
Do we have to, I think the motion would be to accept the audit report and put on file.
Okay, I was thinking of this subcategory of the contract between the executive director and the board. Do we need to do a motion on that?
Technically, Kathy can ask at any time of you, the chair, that she would like to bring up her contract and anytime during a contract, in the middle of it, at the end of it, extension, whatever.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so I am looking for a motion and a second to approve the audit for the period ending, for the fiscal year ending March 31st, 2020, which would be considered the 2019 audit report.
I move to accept the audit report and then put on file.
Second.
Thank you. We have a motion by Commissioner Tom Tebow and a second by Commissioner Dennis Sheedy to approve, to accept the 2019 audit report, which is the fiscal year ending March 31st of 2020, which was delayed because of COVID, and to place it on file. We'll just do a roll call, yes or no vote. Commissioner Don Burrows?
Yes.
Commissioner Tebow?
Yes.
Commissioner Chris Ann Sheedy?
Yes.
And Commissioner Dennis Sheedy?
Yes.
And Commissioner Widdop, yes, so it is unanimous to place on file. And agenda item number 10 is the minutes from the January 12th, 2021 meeting for approval.
I'll make a motion to approve the January 12th, 2021 minutes as written.
Second.
Okay. I would like to, okay, first of all, we have a motion by Commissioner Dennis Sheedy and a second by Commissioner Don Burrows to approve the minutes of the January 12th, 2021 meeting as written. And I would like to make an exception. There are two places where it is mentioned Elise Circle, and I believe that the secretary that did these minutes meant to put Eisenhower Drive, and that would be on the last page. At least the roofing contractors are doing an amazing job and flying through the, I'm sorry, that is Elise Circle. Okay, cancel that. I must have been, oh my goodness, I must have been, yeah, the end of the day. Cancel that. I'm sorry. As written, to accept these minutes as written. Are there any questions or comments about it?
I'm all set, thank you.
I see. It was the windows that that needed. On the last page, Commissioner Chris Sheedy asked about the windows at Elise Circle.
That
And
should
if
be-
the windows can be changed for something else that might be easier to get. Director Steiger indicated that she has already told the contractors that the authority will take whatever kind of window the contractor can get to fit in there. But the contractors are having trouble getting anything until April due to the shortage. That was the error, which should have said Eisenhower Drive as opposed to Elise Circle.
Good job, Pam.
Yeah. Good catch.
The motion to accept the minutes with the amendment to the last page reference to Elise Circle be changed to Eisenhower about the windows.
Thank you.
Second.
Okay, we have an amendment to the motion by Tom Tebow and Commissioner Tebow, and a second by Commissioner Don Burrows. Is there any further discussion? We'll do a roll call, voice vote. All those in favor, Chris Sheedy,
Yes.
Commissioner Dennis Sheedy,
Yes.
Commissioner Tebow,
Yes,
Commissioner Burrows,
Yes.
and Commissioner Widdop is yes, so it is unanimous to approve the minutes of the January 12th, 2021 meeting with the two exceptions on the last page. Let's see, the next agenda item is 11, the civil rights certification meeting, which was held, remote meeting, which was held yesterday, March 15th, 2021.
Yes, this meeting was held just for to show that we're carrying out conformity with the Civil Rights Act as HUD requires us to do every year in regard to our PHA plan. And we had nobody that attended except for Chair Widdop.
You need a motion for that. You need a motion for that, Kathy?
Yes, I do.
So to accept the civil rights certification,
Yes.
I will make a motion that we accept the civil rights certification for the Section 8 program for the Easton Housing Authority.
Second.
Thank you. We have a motion by Commissioner Chris Sheedy and a second by Commissioner Dennis Sheedy to accept the Civil Rights Certification Program as detailed by Commissioner Steiger, both in the proper documentation and at the meeting, which was held on March 15th, 2021 at 2 p.m. All those in favor of approving this, Commissioner Chris Sheedy,
Aye.
Commissioner Dennis Sheedy,
Yes.
Commissioner Tebow,
yes,
and Commissioner Burrows,
Yes.
and Commissioner Widdop is a yes, so it's unanimous. It has been approved. Let's see, the Next agenda item would be if we had any callers, questions and comments. Seeing none, unless any of the board members have any questions or comments.
Questions, comments, it's not on here.
Okay, yeah, it's not on there, I added it.
Okay.
It's typically there, isn't it?
Yep.
Yes, it is. You're correct.
Okay, so we'll,
The three ladies are usually sitting right there too, Pam. They're right there.
okay, and it is time for, oh, wait a minute, and then I skipped something here, the executive
Director's report.
report, agenda item number 12.
Kathy, I think I saw you pulled the list for Eisenhower Drive. Is any luck this time around?
Not yet. Not yet. We're going through the screening process now.
Anybody remotely local?
No.
Oh, well,
Yeah.
somebody's gonna get a nice house.
It's very nice. It's almost ready. Well, we're working with Almach, which is the same company that did the roofs at Adderley Circle. And they actually have a window already, so they're going to make the window work, and they just have to get approval from the designer. And we should be good to go. It shouldn't take very long once they get rolling. They have 30 days to complete it, so.
And they had a kickoff meeting on the 10th?
Yes, it was just via telephone, but yeah. We had met with them a couple of times prior to that, and we went out there with their lead abatement guy. And yeah, I mean, and it should go smoothly.
And Greg from ACAT's keeping an eye on that?
Yes,
Okay,
tremendous help.
that's good.
Am I reading the vacancies right, where, we have 11 vacancies, and is it 10 that we haven't pulled a list for?
Is it, I'm sorry, what?
So you have 11 vacancies listed, and then next to one, you have second floor unit list pulled, but no other comments there. Have you pulled lists for all the other ones?
Yes, they have. Yes, what happened was the last time, she has lists going. What happened last time, I had put that in and forgot to take it out. It was when we were on hold for the first floor units pending DHCD last month, if you remember. We couldn't
Okay.
pull another list, and I left that in there just from the last meeting.
Okay, so,
Oh, she had other list pulls. Oh, absolutely. Yes.
all right, that makes me feel better.
Yeah, no. We have 3 pulled lists going currently.
And how was the vaccine? It sounded like it was very successful. It looks successful on video. So hats off on that. It's a huge feat and nobody realizes what it entails. So I give you congrats.
Thank you. The town, it went seamlessly. The town had it down pat. Kristen Kennedy had it in her mind how it was going to go, and it went exactly as planned. Residents were calm about it. They were very happy to have the EMS go to their unit. EMS got a few kicks out of all the lovely ladies that liked having a good-looking fireman in their unit, and let it be known. It was kind of comical. It was a big chuckle. So it went really well. Huh? I can give you the name. No. It went really well, very well. I hope the second round will go equally as smooth.
What percentage participated, do you know, approximately?
We had 90 residents, so just about half.
50%, no, that's pretty good.
Yeah,
I'm sure some others got the take at other places, but
yes,
if
they did. Absolutely.
excellent, good, great job.
Thank you.
And then great job, it was the firefighters, who else was there?
The CERT team and the Board of Health.
Board of Health, the CERT team and the firefighters, well, thank you to all of them.
It's very professionally done and very well organized, and it was a very upbeat event, I think. Very upbeat overall for the neighborhood.
Yeah, first time in a year, we can do something offensive, do something positive against this thing.
Yeah.
Although it's draining, I understand, Commissioner Sheedy, comment there, but at least it's positive, right? It's bringing us to the end. Handing out masks over and over and over and getting hand sanitizer out and telling people to stay out of community rooms, that was never any fun. It still isn't any.
No, I'm very happy to have provided vaccines, as I'm sure everybody who's done that. But as I was at another meeting and they said it's a heavy lift, and it is a heavy lift, and a lot of people aren't necessarily realizing what's involved.
Yeah. We want to come out and do an audit on you while you're doing this.
Yes.
That was fabulous.
And we're gonna slap your hand too while we're at it.
In budgets, and it's been a challenging year. I think we all know that.
Well, great job.
Yeah, great job.
Yes, very well done.
We have an expert on the board, you know, Dennis Sheedy. I've seen him run clinics. There's second to none.
Yeah, yeah. I'm waving the white flag too. I surrender. No mas, no mas. We've all had it, but we're getting there. We're making progress.
And the reorganization in the office, that's still going fine?
Yes, it seems to be going very well, actually. Yep, everybody's settling in, and I think it's going very well. Fingers crossed.
And Donna's doing a bunch of trainings for Section 8?
Yes, and Jamie's been coming in, Jamie Berryman from Seabrook Solutions, at the end of the month before we run the HAPs to just review any questions. And of course, Jamie's very readily available by phone as well. Yeah, I think it's going well.
That's good.
Yes.
That's very good.
All right, next meeting?
Yes. How about Tuesday, April 13th at 5 p.m.?
Works for me. Although I've had my second shot, so I'm heading out to walk, Market Basket here pretty soon, so.
So the 13th, was that April 13th?
Tuesday, April 13th at 5 p.m. Does that work for you, Chrisanne
Yep, that's fine with me.
and Tom?
I'm all set, thank you, yeah, works for me.
Commissioner Burrows?
Yes, that's fine.
Okay, so the next meeting of the Easton Housing Authority will be held on Tuesday, April 13th at 5 p.m. It's 6:25 p.m. I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
I'll second that.
Okay, we have a motion by Commissioner Dennis Sheedy and a second by Commissioner Chrisanne Sheedy to adjourn the meeting. Roll call voice vote. Commissioner Burrows,
Yes.
Commissioner Tebow,
Yes.
Commissioner Dennis Sheedy,
Yes.
Commissioner Chrisanne Sheedy,
Yes.
and Kathy Steiger, do you have anything to add before we close?
All I have to say is tomorrow, if I can meet up with you and have you sign some of these contract documents, since you're the chair, I need you to sign them maybe in the afternoon. I'll give you a call.
Yes, call me. I am going out tomorrow so I can swing by.
Okay, probably in the afternoon. I have an appointment in the morning. Is that okay?
That's fine. That's
Okay.
fine.
Thank
Okay.
you.
And I am also voting in favor of adjourning the meeting. It is unanimous. So we are adjourning the meeting at 6:25 p.m.
See you at Nelly Felcher.
Have
Sorry.
a great,
Full power with the microphone earlier.
no problem, it happens. See you later.
Bye-bye.
All right.
Bye.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Have a good evening.
Thank you. You too. Be well.